There is light within each of us, but there is also darkness. We're used to showing the world only the best sides of ourselves: kindness, strength, confidence, intelligence. But what happens to those parts of our soul that we consider unworthy? To anger, jealousy, fear, weakness? Carl Gustav Jung, the founder of analytical psychology, called this hidden part of the personality the shadow. It is everything we hide from others, and often from ourselves. Today, we will explore what the shadow is and how it is formed, how it manifests in our lives, why it is dangerous to ignore it, and most importantly, how integrating the shadow helps us become whole. What is the shadow? Jung noticed that every person has unconscious aspects of the psyche. We are born whole, but in the process of upbringing, society and parents teach us this is good and this is bad. If a child gets angry, they may be punished. If they cry, they may hear, "Boys don't cry," or "Be a strong girl." Gradually, we learn to suppress the qualities that others dislike, but they do not disappear. They go into the unconscious and form the shadow. Jung wrote, "One does not become whole until one accepts one's shadow." How does the shadow manifest? The most vivid way the shadow shows itself is through projection. What we refuse to see in ourselves, we begin to notice in others. For example, a person who tends toward aggression but fears it in themselves may see anger everywhere. This boss is too rude. These people are so selfish. A woman suppressing her sexuality may condemn other women for being too provocative. A man hiding his vulnerability may become irritated by weak people. Projections are the shadow's way of knocking on our door. Look, this is part of you too. Another way the shadow emerges is through outbursts. A person may remain calm and composed for years, but suddenly explode with anger or aggression. Why? Because suppressed energy demands release. The danger of suppressing the shadow. If we keep ignoring the shadow, it begins to run our lives from behind the scenes. Jung said, "Until you make the unconscious conscious, it will direct your life, and you will call it fate." Suppressed qualities become destructive. Suppressed fear turns into anxiety. Suppressed anger into destructive outbursts or physical illness. Suppressed sexuality into addiction, shame, or hidden complexes. The shadow is like an invisible backpack. The more we stuff into it, the heavier it becomes. The bright side of the shadow. It is important to understand the shadow is not only about negative qualities. It also holds our suppressed talents, desires, and energy. For example, a child may be told that drawing is a waste of time, so they abandon it. Yet an artist lives within them. A boy may be forbidden to cry or be gentle. Yet in this softness lies his capacity to love and understand others. A girl may be told that being ambitious is wrong, yet her ambitions may contain the seed of future success. Understanding the shadow reveals not only our weaknesses, but also our strengths. The path of shadow integration. So, how can we befriend this hidden part of ourselves? Observation of projections. When someone triggers strong emotions in you, irritation, envy, contempt, ask yourself, what does this say about me? Am I hiding something similar within myself? Honest inner dialogue. You can keep a shadow journal. Write down your ugly thoughts and desires without censorship. This helps you see more of yourself than you usually admit. Creativity. Drawing, writing, music are powerful ways to express the shadow. Even frightening or dark images on paper can become sources of energy and understanding. Working with the body. Sometimes suppressed emotions live in the body. Anger in a clenched jaw, fear in the stomach, shame in the shoulders. Through breathing practices, dance, or yoga, you can allow these energies to surface. Acceptance. Instead of fighting the shadow, learn to say, "I see you. You are part of me." Only then does the energy once wasted on suppression become available for creation. Examples from life.
Jung often referred to mythology and religion. The hero must descend into the underworld, face the monster, and only then return renewed. In psychology, this means every person must face their inner shadow. Only then do they become whole. Take a simple example. Imagine a person who spends their whole life trying to be good. They always smile, help others, avoid conflict, but inside, anger and exhaustion build up. One day, they explode at their loved ones, without even knowing why. If this person begins to work with their shadow, they may gradually learn to admit, yes, I can feel anger too, and that's okay. Then they will begin to express their feelings in healthier ways, setting boundaries, standing up for themselves, and their life will become more balanced. The shadow and spirituality. Esoteric teachings often speak of light and darkness, of the struggle between good and evil within us. But from Jung's perspective, this is not a battle. It is a process of integration. Spiritual growth is impossible if we reject parts of ourselves. True spirituality is not running from darkness, but the ability to hold both light and dark in the heart. Jung wrote that within each person lies the archetype of wholeness, the self. It is the center of the psyche that unites opposites. When we accept our shadow, we move closer to this self, toward inner harmony. Practice for the audience. Try a simple exercise. Take a sheet of paper and write down 3 qualities that irritate you the most in other people. It could be greed, laziness, arrogance. Now ask yourself, where does this exist in me? Perhaps you also feel lazy at times, but you're ashamed of it. Perhaps you also crave recognition, but you hide it. This doesn't mean you are bad. It means you are alive and whole. Conclusion. The shadow is not an enemy. It is an ally. It holds immense energy, our talents, and our strengths. When we acknowledge the shadow, we become more honest with ourselves. When we stop fearing it, we begin to live more deeply, bravely, and freely. Carl Jung said, "One does not become enlightened by imagining figures of light, but by making the darkness conscious." This is the path of the mature, spiritual human being. Not to run from the shadow, but to embrace it. Not to wage war within, but to unite the opposites. Only a whole person is truly capable of love, creativity, and walking their authentic path.